Hi, my name is Lacey Naumann, and I will be presenting on Tsakonian. So what first caught our interest about Tsakonian was that it's known as the Spartan tongue and is the last remainder of Doric Greek. And we thought Spartans were pretty cool, so why not study them? And what really kept us interested was that there's a lot of information and a lot of research, a lot of articles on Tsakonian, and this helped us do a better, comprehensive and more in-depth study of the language. Tsakonian is spoken in this tiny little area of Greece where the arrow is pointing at on this map. So it's a very tiny area centered around the town of Leonidio. Most of the speakers are in that area, and they are either farmers, shepherds, or gardeners. So there are only about 300 speakers of Tsakonian at the moment, so it is considered critically endangered by UNESCO. It is considered a moribund language, with all of its fluent speakers being of the grandparent generation or older. So a lot of Tsakonian culture is rooted in Spartan culture, such as one of the dances they continue to do, which is the Pyrrhic dance. And it is one of the only surviving ancient Greek dances, and it was a Spartan war dance when it was originally created. They also still sing a lot of their traditional songs, such as this one right here. They have a parade every year for the Tsakonian festival. A few other interesting things: they have a specific kind of eggplant that only grows in this area and is often used in Tsakonian cuisine. And they also have a special kind of cheese called Simpakukira. Forgive my pronunciation. The area is mainly Greek Orthodox, and actually Tsakonian is used in churches in that area. Now to the actual linguistic part of the language. Tsakonian actually has the same syntax order as English and modern Greek. It is a subject, verb, object order, and this could actually make it easier for people to learn if we want to revitalize the language. Morphologically, it is a synthetic agglutinative language. There's an example in this sentence here with the word chora, meaning village, and choriata, meaning villager. So we can tell through that they add on suffixes, so they have affixes in their language, making it agglutinative. Phonologically, it is a rhotic language. They pronounce the R sound. They also have the guttural ch sound, and a sh sound that does not occur in modern Greek. Currently, almost all revitalization efforts have come from this one man, Panagiatis Tsagoris, who is the headmaster of Leonidio. Leonidio is the village that the Tsakonian speakers are mostly centered around in Greece. So what he has been doing is teaching Tsakonian to the children at his school, but also having them go up into the rural areas around Leonidio to record the older generation speaking Tsakonian to create a digital lexicon of the Tsakonian language. Currently, he has about 4,650 Tsakonian words translated into Greek, along with an audio clip of them. He hopes to be able to maintain the language and keep it from dying out completely. He puts his hope in the younger generations, and he's trying to generate interest in their culture and traditions. He has said that when he was younger, he didn't realize the importance of Tsakonian language and culture, and now he wishes he had paid more attention when he was younger to the language, and now he wants his students to get a head start on where he is. A couple of other people have contributed to the revitalization efforts of Tsakonian. There's one woman who has written 2 children's books in Tsakonian and sells them at local markets and fairs. So these 2 people are really the only ones that are heading up the revitalization movement. At the moment, I don't think their efforts are really going to make a difference in Tsakonian. I think that they will put off the death of the language, which right now is expected to be in 30 years, but I don't think they will completely save it. It is much too local, and there's just not enough people who are a part of it to really make a difference. Also, what's really caused the death of the language is when electricity was introduced to the area in the 50s, and then the Greek mainstream media began flooding in and just kind of overtaking all its Tsakonian culture and way of life. I think that to be able to compete with that, they need to be able to have more Tsakonian digitally, in media, and in other forms. This is what I think they should do in order to save the Tsakonian language. First off, they have to get the Greek government involved, because they have to have macro planning. Ideally, they would have the Greek government have grants to fund his project as well as the children's author, so that she can create more books and he can hire more teachers and create a better website and lexicon to actually be able to teach more students. Obviously money is the main thing in this, and be able to get funding, and which is why the government has to be involved. This might be hard though, because many Greeks consider Tsakonian just to be a dialect of Greek despite its mutual unintelligibility. So there would probably have to be a lot of support for this from other areas, locally and abroad. Getting the abroad attention, I would suggest that they encourage the academic nature of learning Tsakonian. As I mentioned before, there's the Pyrrhic dance that has survived in Tsakonian culture, which is the Spartan war dance. It is one of the oldest forms of Greek culture that is survived and still practiced today. If this could be spread to more people interested in studying the classic histories of ancient Greece, Sparta, then they would realize that this language has to be saved so that they can continue to study this culture and not lose it. It's almost like living relics. So if we could get more academics, linguists interested in this language for that sake, then there could be funding from outside places besides the Greek government, from organizations and museums and universities that would be interested in keeping the Tsakonian culture alive in this area. Finally, I thought the woman writing children's book was just an awesome idea. I think that appealing to children's media is a really good way to get children interested and able to learn the language fluently. So if she could write more books, have more funding for that, get some other people to do that too, to put on theater and TV shows, music, stuff like that is what really gets people interested in the language and raises its prestige, so people would actually think it's important to know. So if they could get into those domains of government, of media, and academia, I think the Tsakonian language really could be saved.